The Cow That Gored the Wolf. Once upon a time, in the western outskirts of Nara, a farmer kept a special cow for agricultural work. The cow had a calf, and during the autumn she was left to graze in the fields. As dusk approached, the farmer's young boys usually went to bring her back. However, on this occasion, both the farmer and the boys forgot to do so. The cow and her calf roamed the fields to eat. As evening fell, a large wolf appeared, intending to prey on the calf. Seeing the wolf circling around her calf, the mother cow, distressed for her child, thought, "I cannot let my calf be harmed," and began to defend her offspring against the wolf. As the wolf circled around, the cow saw a low fence on the opposite side. Suddenly, she charged at the wolf, goring it with her horns. The wolf was caught off guard and fell on its back, unable to move. The mother cow, fearing for her calf's safety, thought, "If I don't defend it, I may be killed." And with great determination, she pressed her hind legs firmly against the ground and continued to gore the wolf until it finally died. Unaware that the wolf was dead, the cow remained vigilant through the long autumn night, standing firm while her calf cried beside her. Meanwhile, one of the neighboring boys, who also went to fetch the cow, saw the wolf circling the cow, but being young and inexperienced, he returned home as it got dark, without mentioning what he had seen. The farmer, concerned in the morning, said, "I didn't bring the cow back last night. I wonder if she was eaten." The boy then replied, "I saw the wolf circling your cow last night." Alarmed, the farmer rushed to check and found his cow standing over the dead wolf, unmoving, while the calf cried nearby. As the farmer approached, the cow finally let go of the wolf. Upon seeing the dead wolf, the farmer was astonished. So it was true. Last night the wolf intended to eat my calf, but the cow gored it to protect her child. She must have thought that if she let the wolf go, she would be killed. He praised the cow, saying, "What a wise creature," and returned home with her. Thus, even among beasts, there are those with wisdom and a spirit. This story has been passed down through the locals in that area. The Woman Who Encountered the Snake. Once upon a time, there was a young woman walking west along the main road of Konoe in summer. As she passed by a small street called Shimoichijo, she felt the urgent need to relieve herself. Finding a spot by a wooden fence, she squatted down to urinate, while her accompanying young servant stood by the road thinking, she must be done soon. However, as time passed, approaching the hour of the dragon, around 7 to 9 a.m., the servant grew worried when the woman did not return. After waiting for nearly 2 hours, the servant began to cry, concerned about what was taking so long. At that moment, a man on horseback, accompanied by several attendants, rode by and noticed the crying servant. "What's wrong with that child?" he asked his attendants. They explained the situation, and the man then looked closely, seeing that the woman, dressed in a traditional hat, was still squatting by the fence. Curious, he asked, "Who is that person?" The servant replied, "She has been here since morning, and it's already 2 hours past." Feeling a sense of urgency, the man dismounted and approached the woman. He noticed her face was pale, resembling that of a dying person. "What's wrong with her? Is she sick? Is this something that happens often?" he asked. But the woman remained silent. The servant, unable to explain, simply continued to cry. As the man observed the situation, he casually glanced toward the fence and saw a large snake peeking out from a hole. Realizing that the snake was likely captivated by the woman's posture and had been mesmerized by her act of urination, he understood why she could not stand up. The man then drew his sword, resembling a sharp blade, and thrust it toward the snake's hole, aiming deep within. With his attendants, he helped the woman to her feet and prepared to leave. However, as they moved away, the snake suddenly darted out of the hole, striking like a spear, but could only split into two pieces, remaining stuck. The woman, unaware of the danger, had remained in the snake's grasp until the moment they departed. The man, startled, remarked on the terrifying nature of the snake. Passersby gathered to see the strange sight. The man quickly mounted his horse and rode away, while his attendants retrieved the sword. They escorted the woman, who seemed weak and confused, as if she had fallen ill, until they safely reached home. After that, the story of what happened was not known. Thus, for any woman hearing this tale, it serves as a warning against entering such dangerous places. This story has been passed down through those who witnessed the events. The Monk and the Snake Encounter. Once upon a time, there was a young monk who served at the temple of a fellow monk who had a wife and children. During one summer day, they traveled together to Midera Temple. Feeling drowsy in the daytime, the young monk found a quiet corner in a spacious room, laid his head on a beam, and fell asleep. He slept well, but in his dreams, a beautiful young woman appeared beside him, inviting him to engage in intimate acts. Startled awake, he looked around and saw a snake about 5 feet long lying nearby. Alarmed, he jumped up and found that the snake was dead, its mouth wide open. In his shock and fear, he recalled his dream and noticed that his surroundings were damp. Realizing, was I dreaming of marrying that beautiful woman, or was it with this snake? As he reflected on this, he saw that the snake had apparently died while trying to swallow something that had come from him. Understanding what had happened, he thought, while I was peacefully asleep, the snake must have approached to consume me, mistaking my dreams for reality. It must have died while attempting to indulge in such desires. Terrified by the incident, he left the spot and washed himself thoroughly in private. He considered whether to tell anyone about the event, but thought, if I share this, people will say, that monk married a snake. Despite his fears and the peculiarity of the situation, he kept silent. However, the story still weighed heavily on his mind, and eventually he confided in a close monk who was equally horrified upon hearing it. Thus, it became clear that one should never sleep alone in a deserted place. The young monk, after this incident, behaved cautiously, seeming somewhat ill from fear. The saying, beasts that indulge in human desires will die from it, proved to be true. This story was passed down by those who heard the monk recount his experience. The Tale of the Enigmatic Box. Once upon a time, there lived a man named Sabe no Sadabumi, who was known for his exceptional beauty and charm. His reputation was such that there were none in the world who surpassed him in elegance and allure. Given his allure, no woman, whether married or single, could resist him. At that time, a great minister from the palace had a young lady in waiting known for her delicate beauty and graceful demeanor. This minister had frequent interactions with Sadabumi, and having heard of the lady's exquisite qualities, Sadabumi had long desired to be close to her. However, despite his persistent efforts, the lady in waiting did not respond to his advances. Feeling dejected, Sadabumi sent her a message, pleading, just let me see 2 characters that say, you're mine. When the messenger returned, Sadabumi eagerly grabbed the reply, only to find that it contained the same request he had sent her. Just show me 2 characters that say, you're mine. Infuriated and heartbroken by her indifference, he thought to himself, this is how far I have fallen. As the end of February approached, he resolved to give up and focused on other matters. However, by the 20th of May, it rained heavily on a particularly dark night. Sadabumi thought, even if I'm treated as a ghost tonight, I must go and see her. He ventured out into the rain, which continued to pour, and made his way to the minister's residence. At the entrance, he called out to one of the maidservants, I have come to visit in despair. The maid replied, please wait a moment, the lady is not yet asleep. As he waited, Sadabumi felt a sense of dread creeping over him, wondering what kind of feelings would compel someone to come out in such terrible weather. After a while, as the house quieted down, he heard a sound from inside. A servant stealthily unlatched the door. Overcome with joy, he rushed to the door, which opened smoothly, and he wondered, what a delightful surprise this is. Upon entering, he was enveloped in a sweet fragrance filling the room. As he approached, he found the lady lying there, draped in a single layer of clothing. The delicate lines of her body and the way her hair fell were enchanting. Overwhelmed with happiness, Sadabumi forgot to say anything. The lady remarked, I came out to let you know that the latch on the door is unfastened. I will return shortly. She then rose, took off her outer garments, and donned simpler clothing before leaving. After a moment, Sadabumi, waiting with anticipation, heard the sound of the latch again and thought, she is coming back. But after what felt like an eternity, when the footsteps drew near, he grew restless and went to check the door, only to find it still secured. His heart sank with jealousy, and he wept, realizing that his hopes were crushed once again. He thought, if only I had known this was going to happen, I wouldn't have let myself become so desperate. Determined to stay in her room even if dawn broke, he steeled himself, thinking, I must hide and see what she is doing. Yet, as morning approached, he could hear the sounds of others waking up, prompting him to leave hurriedly. From that point on, he couldn't shake off the feeling of jealousy and resentment, lingering over the thought of her and the box she had with her, which he believed contained something wondrous. He thought, surely whatever is inside is not like anything I have seen before. I must find a way to discover it. In his despair, he plotted to snatch the box from her and see its contents. One day, while observing, he noticed the lady, dressed in delicate attire, leaving the room with the box concealed under her clothing. Filled with a sense of desperation, he leaped forth and seized the box from her grasp. The maid, crying in protest, was helpless as he dashed away, locking himself inside a secluded space. Upon opening the box, he found it lined with lacquer and discovered it contained a delicate substance, fragrant and sweet. His curiosity piqued. He wondered, what is this exquisite item? As he sampled the contents, he was met with an overwhelming wave of taste that left him both satisfied and bewildered. He thought, surely this is not something ordinary. Yet, as he continued to indulge, his health began to deteriorate, overwhelmed by his obsession. Ultimately, he fell into despair, leading to his untimely death. This story serves as a cautionary tale. Both men and women are often swept away by desire, leading to tragic consequences. Thus, it has been passed down through the ages as a reminder of the perils of unrestrained longing. The Tale of the Monk Who Abandoned the World. Once upon a time, there was a man named Hirano no Sadabumi. His courtesy name was Hirano no Naka. He was known for his great fondness for beauty, and in the height of his passions, Hirano no Naka went out one day. At that time, many noble ladies of the court had also ventured out. When Hirano no Naka saw them, he was captivated by their beauty and sent a message to one of them. The ladies, noticing this, commented, there are many people with horse-drawn carriages. Whose message could this be? Hirano no Naka sent a response with the following poem. Though the many blossoms at the foot of the palace are lovely, they do not compare to the feelings that dwell within me. This was addressed to the daughter of a man named Musashino, who was known to wear splendid garments. He had borrowed her for his own desires. Consequently, Musashino sent a reply saying, you have expressed your feelings very well. Musashino was a remarkably handsome young man. Although many suitors had courted her, none could match Hirano no Naka's fervent pursuit. Yet, because of his persistent affection, the young woman's heart began to weaken, and ultimately she found herself meeting him. One morning, when Hirano no Naka returned from his visit, he did not send any messages. The lady felt a deep sense of sorrow and waited until evening, but when he did not arrive, she thought to herself, it is disheartening to be abandoned like this. The following day also passed without a message, and once more he did not come that night. After several days had gone by, she was filled with tears and could not eat. The ladies who served her lamented, saying, people say you should be cautious in your meetings, yet your noble status makes it difficult to avoid, and it is wrong to ignore him. Hearing this, the lady thought, if they feel this way, it is shameful, and she wept. Even that night, she pondered, is he well? But he did not come again. Days passed without a word from him, and eventually, she could no longer hold back her tears and she refrained from eating. Her attendants worried about her condition and said, she cannot continue like this without anyone knowing. She ought to show some signs of life. Finally, the lady, without revealing her feelings to anyone, cut her hair and became a nun. Her servants, seeing this, gathered and wept, but their sorrow was of no help. The nun lamented, if my heart is troubled, I would wish for death. Yet since I cannot die, I will carry on in this manner. Do not make a commotion over me. Thus, it came to pass that Hirano no Naka had gone for a long time without contact. On the morning of his return, he had planned to send a message. As he was a high-ranking gentleman who frequently served in the court, he received a summons saying, come quickly. So he abandoned everything and hurried there. After spending about 5 or 6 days, he thought to himself, what could be causing her to act strangely? Yet, he remained troubled by the thought, I must return today. I must return today. As the days dragged on, it became increasingly difficult for him to leave. At that moment, he decided to convey the state of affairs back to her. When he received a message saying, "Here's a letter for you," he looked closely and saw that it was delivered by her wet nurse. Seeing this, his heart raced, and he exclaimed, "Come here quickly." He took the letter and opened it, finding strands of hair wrapped in fragrant paper. Thinking it strange, he read the poem written inside. "I have heard that the river of heaven flows quickly, yet my tears fall faster than it." Upon reading this, Hirano no Naka was overwhelmed, and he felt as though his heart had turned dark. He asked the messenger, "Hurry and let her know of my feelings. The ladies are crying terribly. I also feel that these must be her tears, and it pains my heart to think so." And even the messenger wept. Hearing this, Hirano no Naka could not hold back his own tears. He realized it was not proper to respond with mere words, so he composed his reply with tears flowing. "Though I may shed tears for this sorrowful world, they shall flow like the river of heaven." He thought it was strange and that he could not think clearly. "I must go to her now," he declared. Afterward, Hirano no Naka went to see her, but the nun remained locked away, and no words could be heard from her. Hirano no Naka met with her lady attendants and cried, "Do you not understand the obstacles that have arisen? How strange this heart of yours is." This became the tale of a man's lack of resolve. Whatever the situation, one should have acted accordingly. It is only natural that a lady would feel abandoned after 5 or 6 days without communication. However, it is said that the lady had a past connection to the world, which led her to take the vows of a nun. Thus, the story has been passed down.